Welcome to Spiritual Psychic with Sara Wiseman, where you'll learn how to unlock the secrets of spiritual intuition and your own psychic gifts. Here's Sara.
Welcome to Spiritual Psychic. I'm Sara Wiseman. We're talking today about when you know who you are. When you know. I would say that the journey of our life is trying to figure out who we are. We spend a lot of our lives, maybe even most of the years of our life, trying to figure this out. Who am I? Who am I? And when we're kids, of course, we just, like these, vulnerable little sponges, we just absorb what others say about us, our parents and our teachers and our friends. And as we get older, we're still these vulnerable little sponges, and we take on what a more adult group says about us, our lovers or our colleagues or our bosses. And on the one hand, these are not necessarily our parents, our teachers, our friends, our lovers, our colleagues, our bosses. These may be incredibly unreliable sources, right? As you look back, knowing who you are now, at all the people who told you who you were, you can see they didn't know. They didn't know what they were talking about. All these people that told me who I was, and I wasn't that. They didn't know. What the heck? So the thing is, we might come to this place in our adulthood being told who we are by parent, teacher, friend, lover, colleague, boss. All these definitions. You're this way. You're that way. This is you're this. You're one of those. And we might still have no idea who we really are because we have not defined it for ourselves. We have not decided who we are for ourselves. And when you get to that place, finally, it could happen in your 20s. It could happen when you're 8, when you're 20, when you're 43, when you're 56, when you're 89. All ages happens when you finally stop letting other people define who you are. A parent, teacher, friend, lover, colleague, boss, you just say, nah, sorry guys. Thanks for the input. I have my own ideas. Appreciate your interest. I have my own way that I'm going to walk. And also, here's the other part. When you stop defining yourself as a category, mother, husband, accountant, dancer, young person, old person, whatever your categories are, daughter, lover, on and on, whatever those categories are for you, and you simply let go of all that, what other people say, and the idea of having an identity based on a category, and you just define yourself as worthy without those roles and identities. And of course, this is where it starts to get incredibly interesting. There's all this talk about authenticity. There's all this talk about walking your own path and living your own life. And in order to do those things, in order to live like those people who just go out and do what they want and pursue their passions and live how they want and have relationships that they want and live in places that they want and so forth, they're able to do that because they've stopped listening to all of the other. This is what you are. I say this is what you are. This is what you are. You're only a mother. You're only an accountant. On and on and on. No. Chucking out the stories and the roles and the past and the identities and the ego attachments and just saying, hey, here I am, universe. Ready to show up to what is. I've got a particular personality. I've got some gifts. Ready to make use of those beyond identity, beyond role, beyond what everybody else is telling me I'm supposed to be doing. And as you move into this sort of loss of identity, this is when you move into a true, authentic expression of yourself, capital S, your soul self. And you discover that when you show up this way, without attachment to identity, it's like you're just consciousness in a body. The roles don't matter. What other people told you, who cares? Let them deal with their own stuff, right? You deal with your stuff. Don't need to be forcing and interfering and controlling other people, and you don't need to allow that from others either. When you show up without identity, just consciousness, awareness, some gifts and talents that you just have always had, they're easy for you, and then the universe tends to expand very quickly, bringing you to all manner of brilliance and enjoyment. Your identities aren't who you really are, and what people tell you isn't what you really are either. So consider if you can just release it all, just check it out, the stories and roles and pasts and identities and everything that everybody told you about who you were, and just start being a soul in the world. I am Sara Wiseman, and you will find me at sarawiseman.com.